Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 13 of season 2 of the F124 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Silverstone, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. We've got an all-new teammate inside this series, and hopefully, after a bit of a rocky start, Sergio Perez can try and start delivering us some better results. We've had a couple of upgrades come in, though, on the car between last episode and this one, so we are slowly moving our way forward in terms of vehicle performance. We've also got a little bit of R&D as well. That might mean we can try and bring another upgrade to the car ready for after the Belgian Grand Prix. But of course, if you're new around here, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel as well. We're trying to hit 5k subs currently at the moment. Championship-wise, well, we are still 6th place in the Constructors. Perez, you can see, 8th in the Drivers' table ahead of myself there. We're waiting to see whether Ayumu Iwasa is going to get his first points of the year for Red Bull. But still, yeah, the battle between Ferrari and Mercedes, Hamilton and Leclerc, 8 points in it in the Constructors, 4 points in it in the Drivers' title. But Lando Norris is the man on a mission right now. Back-to-back victories for the McLaren driver. He'll be looking to try and make it 3 in a row this weekend and really mark himself as a threat.
It is time for the drivers to dance on the edge. You are never resting, you are never still in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix right here at the Hungaroring.
Well, we've had to compromise our setup just a little bit around this venue because it is, for the first time in what feels like forever, going to be a wet weekend, going to be changeable conditions as we head into the Grand Prix. So, there we go. Fernando Alonso immediately launches himself up onto pole position. Perez, you can see, using those new upgrades on the car to good effect. Currently ahead of at least a few drivers here. So I'm hoping, yeah, Perez by the end of the year, I wanted to see him at least score a point. I have been reading your comments. I understand, obviously, that there's a bit of trickery with the AI in this game, where they can't really outperform a car very often, you know, unless they're a Fernando Alonso or something like that. And the AI apparently always get weaker when they join your team, so obviously you're still the number one, which I don't like. I quite like the fact, obviously, at least in the Ferrari career mode, Charles Leclerc and I have been pushing each other really, really hard inside that series, but I guess it is what it is as well there. So we try and navigate our way through the middle sector, though. Yeah, the car's felt quite oversteery so far this weekend. I've tried to give it a bit more front-end responsiveness in the hopes that it'll help us out. I mean, yeah, we've barely closed in on Fernando Alonso, who, after going on pole, still seems to be flying around this circuit to get back into the pit lane here. Just a couple more corners to go. First and foremost, of course, we want to just try and make sure that we're ahead of our teammate. So at the final corner, use the last remaining bit of our battery. It's going to be a 14.3. We go P15. That's not bad. Well, we need to try and find a couple more tenths of a second then if we want to be knocking on the door of the top 10. A few more times coming in for others has meant we've been relegated back down to P16. I've just got to make sure we use up more of our battery early on in the lap as well, because that seems to have compromised us a bit on that first run. We crossed the finish line with about half a charge still in the car, so a little bit hesitant on the brakes down at turn 1. Hopefully we can try and carry the speed off the corner. No, we can't. Big snap of oversteer off of that first corner as well, so then we've got to try and gather up the lap time a little bit more as the lap unfolds. Hopefully have a bit more confidence than what we saw early on. As you can see, I mean, basically from now, there's not much opportunity to use the battery around the rest of the lap there, as that was beautiful through turn 4. Norris immediately now goes up to the top of the board, but Alonso says, and will snatch it back for himself there. That Aston Martin's been quick around some of the high downforce circuits this year. Of course, let's not forget the Spanish Grand Prix just a few races ago. So we just run again a little bit wide through the end of the middle sector there. Russell now for Merck up towards the top of the board. But are we going to have enough here? As it just doesn't look like the time is coming towards us. A little bit of a mistake down in towards the final couple of corners. I don't think we're going to do it. I think, yeah, this lap's completely ruined as we make our way through the final turn. 2.5 tenths down. Can we just find a little bit more? Yes, we can. Oh, Perez even went quicker in the end. That is really disappointing. Everybody else's times ramped up. Ours did not. Well, Lewis Hamilton usually loves this circuit, but it's George Russell that storms to pole position here at the end of qualifying. Half a second clear of his World Championship leading teammate there, as we've got 4 cars from 4 different teams inside your top 4. Alonso, Leclerc, Lando Norris, all right on top of each other as well. Iwasa again gets within 0.06 of a second of Max Verstappen, so not really sure how that works. And I think for maybe the first time this season, we have been out-qualified by our teammate there. The margins are very, very tight though, so hopefully the compromise we've made will suit us in the wet conditions.
Button, Hill, Alonso and Kovalainen, the names of the drivers who had their breakthrough in Budapest, winning their first Grand Prix right here. The Hungaroring, it's like Monaco without the boats, although the boats today could come in very handy indeed. 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right, and some very tricky challenges to deal with out there. These rainy conditions aren't going to help things. It is very likely we'll see a safety car or 2 during today's race. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Hamilton, Verstappen, Iwasa, Ocon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Albon, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Sargent, Teo Porcher, Perez, Joe, Mr. Monaco, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Hello everyone, welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Shakes and we say hello to Naomi Schiff. I love this moment in the weekend. Put us in their shoes right now. What are they feeling on the grid?
It's a very special time for the drivers. It's almost like everything around you slows down and you become hyper aware. So your nerves slightly go up, your adrenaline's going up. It's the perfect time to start focusing on your visualizations and preparing for the race. So you want to avoid distractions and really stay cool, calm and focused.
I know you're gutted to be starting from here, but just focus on putting that and some other cars behind you. Good luck.
Well, the last time there was a wet start here at Hungary didn't exactly go well, at least if you're asking the man that, worryingly, I start alongside. Will Valtteri Bottas go bowling once again here at Hungary? Only time will tell, but this is going to feel like an absolute marathon of a Grand Prix. The rain is meant to slowly die off in the second half, but yeah, unless we get a red flag or a safety car, I don't think we'll see dry conditions today. We're waiting on the grid though. It is 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out and away we go. There is actually getting off to a fairly decent getaway. So does Zhou Guanyu though, immediately going past our teammate Perez. As Bottas and Sergio, they're going to try and go defensive on each other. Whoa, down in towards Salmon. I've almost done Bottas bowling in towards the first corner. There's plenty of contact around us, but we've managed to make it through fairly clean and tidy. I think I could just see Iwasa there, maybe that was losing a couple of spots. It's down the inside of a couple more will go at turn 2 there. So straight up into P15 then off the start of the GP. We got Sargent there. Never forget Logan Sargent. Just dropping down into P16, who was trying to stay on our inside through the next corner. Yeah, I do wonder whether we're going to see F1 Code is EA update this so Franco Colapinto is in the game between now and the end of the year there. But down the inside of Gasly as well will go. I mean, we've got to make moves on lap 1. Said I want to try and get ourselves fighting up towards the top 10. But today as well could be about tyre saving. So if it's possible, I could be tempted to try and no-stop this Grand Prix. Maybe just gain a few spots and then have to absolutely park the bus later on. Alonso then has snatched the lead off the start today. So could we still see the Spaniard launch a title challenge this year? If he can get a couple more wins under his belt. It feels like everyone gains a bit of momentum for a couple of races and then kind of loses it again. This is going to be a season where consistency is kind of prioritised more than anything else over the course of the campaign. But looking at the wear though, I tell you what,
Tyre condition for now, everything's looking good.
I'm thinking, yeah, no stop might be doable here. Of course, it will depend on what happens with the conditions or a red flag or a safety car or anything like that. But Yeah, I mean, obviously you can no-stop in races with changeable conditions. I think it's still very early days, but it might be worth trying it. Well, lap times are coming down as well, slowly but surely, early on, as we're going to try and send it to the inside of Alex Albon. That was audacious in towards the first corner. No contact made, though, as we got the car slowed down right on the apex, and are we about to inherit P13 then? Unlucky for some, hopefully not for us. Oh, Albon, hello! Just getting the elbows out there off the corner, clearly not happy with the dive bomb I did, so we'll return the favour on the exit. A little bit of contact between us, luckily I don't think there was any damage to either car, but if Albon had picked up some front wing damage there, I don't think I would have felt particularly remorseful. Well, it is quite interesting taking a look up and down the order there. New fastest laps coming in thick and fast at the front. Yep, Mark clearly doesn't want to tell me that Carlos Sainz went even quicker, but Alonso definitely seems to be holding up that top group a little bit. Iwasa as well is holding up his fellow Japanese driver in Yuki Tsunoda. Wonder how Tsunoda feels that he kind of got snubbed for that opportunity. So we got an engine warning light flashing up. That's the turbocharger. Luckily, Hungary isn't a particularly power-sensitive circuit, especially in the rain. I mean, yeah, look at that tyre wear. We're already 20% into the GP. Tyres only at about 14%. I mean, as always, the issue around the Hungaroring is not getting to the next car, it's getting round them. So far, we haven't struggled too much with making moves here as we almost take new fastest lap of the day. We're closing in on Ocon back down towards turn 1. Again, we're going to go from a long way back, and again, we're going to get it slowed down into the apex there. So, yeah, I mean, the AI, they got to be leaving close to 0.4 of a second on the table in towards turn 1. Oh, no! Oh, sorry, Esteban. I thought he backed out of it entirely, but clearly, yeah, the previous Grand Prix winner here had not. And, well, we've got to try and go for it again. I mean, yeah, if you want to make the move down towards turn 1, it is all about getting up under the gearbox of that car in front through these final couple of corners. And weirdly, I think in the rain, it's easier to do than in the dry. You're more grip limited than downforce limited for a change, as Leclerc now takes fastest lap. I mean, yeah, we're only a couple of tenths away. Only a couple of tenths away from that fastest time there, as this time round not able to hang as close to Esteban. You can see when we use the battery how much we gain. I mean, that time round was a little bit more ragged. I was worried I was going to go into the back of him down towards turn 1. Esteban Ocon read it like a book, though. Tried to switch me on the exit, but in a traction race there, this time the tables have turned, and we've got the inside line down at turn 2, and Ocon just runs out of grip round our outside there. I'll see Iwasa just a couple of spots up. Because, yeah, the tyre wear's definitely going up a little bit more. Oh, Alonso already into the pit lane then. That's a very, very early call for the Spaniard to be making here, and he seems to be one of the only drivers that's opted to dive in. So is he actually on a two-stop strategy then, Fernando Alonso here, or is he going to try and go for a big undercut and get around those other cars behind? Annoyingly, all that aggressive battling with Ocon has actually upset the rear tyre temps slightly. They're just starting to overheat a little bit, and although it's not bad, it's near impossible to get them back in the right window either, and that of course just increased the wear even more. I could be tempted to box quite soon, try to undercut and get closer to Iwasa again. Yeah, because I'm not convinced if we keep having issues.
But I don't think we've got cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's wet enough for the wets, and I don't think you'd be mad enough to go out on a dry set at the moment. Still way too slippery. Could change by the end of the afternoon, though. But I think, yeah, we'll call it in now. Try and get a nice cold set of tyres on the wagon. And just try to focus on the undercut. I mean, is it the most Matt212 thing in the world to say you want to try and no-stop a Grand Prix and then barely at 1/3 distance already be into the pit lane here? I think it is a wise choice, though. I don't think we would get to the end, as that was close on pit lane entry as well there, but we should re-emerge at the rear of the field, I think. Might be a bit closer to Alonso here, because I think he's getting held up by some of the slower cars as well. Oh, there we go, that was good.
Fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
So Alonso's actually come out ahead.
We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Now, honestly, I was hoping I'd have a little bit more breathing room to those cars in front. It is our teammate Sergio Perez all the way down in 21st. But again, let's be gentle with these tyres to bring him in. But I don't know whether it's impressive or alarming just how quickly we've rocked back up to the gearbox of our teammate here. I mean, Perez and Bottas. Wasn't that long ago these two were fighting for podiums and potentially race victories on a good weekend for them. But oh, how quickly the tide changes in Formula 1 there. I mean, Perez is still meant to be rated as one of the highest drivers in this game. So not really too sure how that works out. But as we try and put the power down out of that final corner, are we going to be close enough for our teammate here? I think he was eyeing up a move on Bottas as well. We've got way more grip, though, than Sergio. And, well, we've done it before. I'm sure I'll do it again. It's another dive bomb down at turn 1. It seems to be the best place to make the moves today. As will we have enough grip to try and go around Bottas somewhere else on this lap? Just trying to put the power down as best as we can. You can see, oh, the flying fin there. Just sliding that Sauber around. Whoa, just see how much earlier he's got a brake, though. Up through turn 4 and again through turn 5. They're actually catching me out by surprise just a little bit. Surely we'll have the grip and the traction, though, down the inside into the chicane. Oh, Bottas wanted to cover me off, but too little, too late. Well, if Alonso's just tried to go for the undercut on the rest of the front runners, it's working out fantastically for him right now, because he's just set a fastest lap. Nearly a second and a half clear of anybody else's managed today. Zhou Guan Yu trying to go defensive on me down towards turn 1. You can try it. And I think in the end he just accepted it was not a battle worth having. It's actually, of course, Logan Sargent causing this whole train down towards the rear of the running order. As can we try and find the grip around the outside of Porsche? Or are we going to have to try and do what we did to Bottas just a lap ago? Maybe we'll get the move done a little bit earlier there. As around the outside of Formula 1's newest rookie up the hill. Whoa, that was a power move there. Just reminding him he might be a new hotshot on the block, but he still is not better than us. As, well, had we not had that slip up, we could have potentially had a look round Hulkenberg as well. Come on, Nico, you got to get on with it. You got to get on with it, sir. Otherwise, we are going to try and look for that move pretty soon. Sargent, I'm well aware, is obviously holding him up. As well, Hulkenberg just gets a little bit of oversteer there, and he actually opens up the racing line for me down in towards the final couple of corners. Up another one will go then. So, still haven't really seen anybody else other than Fernando into the pit lane. So, I'm not too sure how much time we're taking out of some of the other, you know, kind of the Iwasas and the Tsunodas of this world. So, of course, we want to try and make sure that we're ahead of them. Then we can just park the bus towards the end of the afternoon. 2-2 Motorsport versus Williams. How's this going to go? To the outside of the American. Comfortably later on the brakes. And now we've got a bit of breathing room once more. Here we go then. First clean lap. What's the time going to be? We only really got held up by Sargent at the start of it. And you can see immediately another 0.3 found there. 2 seconds taken out of Ricciardo. I mean, we're starting to see more and more AI into the pits from the front runners. But yeah, we should have a better idea of where we are pretty soon. Oh, there we go. Albon into the pit lane. Ricciardo's opted to stay out. So, I mean, we should be comfortably ahead of him, shouldn't we? But others into the pits as well then. Esteban Ocon, maybe a few other names a bit more important to us. He's making our way through. There's Yuki Tsunoda, so we've got ahead of Yuki. I think he dropped away from Iwasa slightly. You can see Verstappen, I mean, he's only just pitted. He's only, what, 4 seconds ahead of me. Surely we're going to get the jump as well then on Iwasa here. And maybe Alonso, I mean, we've said it before, we'll say it again. He is a wily old fox inside F1 24. Oh, there we go. More cars into the pit lane, so hopefully we are now going to be inside that top 10. And we should get confirmation about Iwasa. Where is he? Oh, no, there he is. So we haven't got the jump on Ayumu yet. He's going to have cold rubber, though, on this outlap, so it might leave him a little bit vulnerable. But I was going to say, I mean, Tsunoda's taken over a second out of me on his outlap as well here, so maybe this hasn't worked out as well as I thought. Yeah, Alonso's not even at the front of the field, so I take everything I just said about Fernando Alonso back. He's not as wily old fox as I thought. Oh no, that's the problem again. We are just overheating those rear tyres a little bit, and it makes such a difference on the intermediates on this game. So we've got to be really, really careful with them. I mean, all we can hope for is that maybe Iwasa starts to struggle. Oh, as soon as I say that, Iwasa does struggle. And we'll go around the outside of the Red Bull then. He just goes for a little spin.
Red flag, no overtaking, and let's get back into the pits, please.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about that one. I'm not going to complain because it gives us another chance. And we've utilised the undercut here, so we are now inside the top 10.
A nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
I thought we might see a switch to dries before the end of this one, but it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. So another set of intermediates going on the wagon. Let's see what we can do then. Maybe we can make some moves this time. It's 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go then. Sonoda immediately getting off like a scolded cat. Yumo Asa as well, trying to recover those places he lost, which brought out that red flag in the first place. So we've got yellows out for someone a bit further back. We're going to dive it down the inside. Oh, a bit of contact with Oscar Piastri there, as I try and get far enough alongside. As Perez has gone. Sergio Perez is out of the Grand Prix then, so I think that was a mechanical issue for our teammate. As we'll dive it down the inside of Verstappen again. Down at turn 2 then, no grip around the outside for the Red Bull.
You've got more control than ever over your ERS mode, so play around with them in your MFT.
And that is a really annoying virtual safety car as well. But as we go green flag racing again then, I think Sergio Perez, he must have been braking down as the red flag happened, because he's not even on our mini-map. It's kind of stopped somewhere around the venue, so another disappointing weekend for Checo Perez in the second car. Like I said, I feel like he had, he showcased some potential this weekend, at least in qualifying.
Sergio's race has ended. He's had to stop the car.
As we'll go for an aggressive dive bomb on Lance Stroll, a bit of P8 then we'll go off of this restart. We're making good moves, but I have got to be careful with those tyres. Well, I'm not going to suggest that maybe we're punching above our weight in this Grand Prix, because we've had better results than P8 so far this year, but yeah, I mean, Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton already just romping away from me with the rest of those front runners, so I think, yeah, our drive is going to be a lot more defensive than offensive towards the end.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 2.4 seconds.
Well, I'm happy it's Lance Stroll behind us right now, because he's probably a little less relentless than Max Verstappen trying to make overtakes. But, yeah, I just want to be really careful with those temperatures. I think they are getting close towards that overheating territory. So we've just got to try and hang on. Oh, we've got more yellows. We've got more yellows. I think that's Verstappen. I think Verstappen's had issues. Is he out of the Grand Prix, or has he gone for a spin? Another red flag.
Red flag. We'll update you in the pits. Everyone's okay.
Well, I think Verstappen has just gone for a spin then, but another one. Another red flag in this GP. Things get really crazy.
So let's think very carefully about our strategy for the rest of this race.
Still no chance to go back to a dry set of tyres though, so the rain is pretty persistent here. But I guess we go again in this GP. Can we again make overtakes off the start? Only one way to find out. It's 5 red lights.
They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
What? Lance Stroll there with an absolute mega getaway, as Lando Norris apparently has got issues. So we need to try and get around him down in towards turn 1, as Hamilton made a couple of moves as well there. And look at George Russell trying to go back to the lead of the Grand Prix up at the front. We've got past both McLarens down in towards that first corner there, as Stroll as well trying to make moves. We'll try and go back around the outside of the Canadian down at turn 2, and you can just see...
Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
Yeah, not sure how I can do that at the moment, Mark. I'm in the middle of a Formula 1 Grand Prix. But yeah, Stroll, I have not seen a Canadian get his elbows out like that in a long old while inside this game. It's good to see, as once again Charles Leclerc hanging on to the lead off of the restart. Yeah, that one was optimistic. I think we'll give the place up to Lance there. That was misjudged slightly. I think the only way you could describe that move was a Lance Stroll style overtake on Lance Stroll himself there. So we navigate our way through the final couple of corners. I mean, really, we've got one shot back down towards turn 1. And with the Aston Martin getting that kind of run off the final corner, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do anything. Yeah, nowhere near enough speed back into that first corner. I mean, I feel a little bit bad for Owasa. Not sure why he deserved a 5-second penalty for that spin. But he's trying to make moves on Lando Norris. This is, however, allowing us a little bit of breathing room, as maybe if Norris can hold up everybody else, that 5-second pen won't matter as much. Well, I think if you look back and remember that we started this Grand Prix in P21, to have made up 14 spots here and survived all of the chaos and carnage, I think we should be quite rightly happy with ourselves towards the end of this one. 5 laps to go here from the Hungaro ring. We have not got the pace to keep up with Stroll. I think we've got the pace to keep Owasa at bay, 5-second penalty or not. Let's just try and get this car home and pick up some points. Well, I tell you what then, as we round the final couple of corners to start the last lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's not a million miles away from dry conditions here. I think give it another sort of 4 or 5 laps. Oh.
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay.
Okay, Mark immediately is going to make me look like a moron. Yeah, the rain is meant to just hang around towards the end of the afternoon, but we are very, very close to the crossover period. I'm looking on the mini-map. I think Iwasa might or should still score points here, but actually Alex Albon has been able to sneak his way up inside the points as well then, so he's done a very, very good job as the afternoon has unfolded there and kept himself out of trouble. The same can absolutely be said for Charles Leclerc at the front of the running order as well. He has had a fantastic race today, and after Lando Norris has kind of stolen the limelight recently, Leclerc has just been slowly chiseling away at that gap Hamilton's got at the top of the table, and I don't know whether it's going to be for the first time this season, but Leclerc by the end of this weekend looks like he is going to be back on top in this championship that keeps just swinging backwards and forwards. Lando Norris, an absolute weekend to forget. The same can be said for Verstappen as well there, but through the final couple of corners, Charles Leclerc, it's got to be what, win number 4, maybe even win number 5 of the year so far. It has really been kind of split out, but Leclerc, when he wins in dominating fashion here. Charles Leclerc will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Through the final corner we're going to go from 21st on the grid. Iwasa's going to have me. Luckily, he's got a penalty. It's P7.
What a performance! He's left the field behind. Charles Leclerc wins it.
Incredible victory today, and this really keeps their hopes in the driver's title away, and you can just see how much of a celebration is going on down there. It proves what it means to them.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, there we go. Charles Leclerc on a 3-stop strategy is going to take the win here at the Hungaroring. I know the red flags affect the timing, but 66 minutes worth of racing. Obviously, if this was a 100% GP, it would have been done based on the maximum time allowances there. Russell comes through for P2, ahead of Alonso and Carlos Sainz there with Hamilton, Stroll, myself, Piastri. Iwasa does get his first ever Formula 1 points as well, beating out Alex Albon, who finishes in at P10. Like we said, nightmare for both Lando Norris and Max Verstappen there, as well as Sergio Perez, who is the only driver who failed to see the checkered flag this weekend. But that means in terms of the championship, Leclerc now, what was it, a 4-point deficit coming into this weekend? He leaves with a 12-point margin over Lewis Hamilton there. Norris still in third ahead of Perez, ahead of Sainz and Verstappen. Alonso still ahead of Russell there, as we do take a few points out of Oscar Piastri as well. But, I mean, we could get to him by the end of the year, but I think as well we want to try and stay ahead of Sir Lancelot. That means in terms of drivers that yet to score, though, it is just both Sauber's Théo Pourchaire and Logan Sargent left on the starting blocks. As yeah, you can see in the constructors though, Ferrari just inch away with that lead at the top. Mercedes still ahead of Red Bull there, who gained a little bit of ground back off McLaren, if I'm not mistaken, as well there. Aston Martin ahead of ourselves, VCarb, Alpine, Williams, Haas, and yeah, Kick Sauber yet to score. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready in Belgium.